Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Sandra Kahale from Onward Consulting. I'm a communication strategist, a content creator, a web writer, and much more. And today in this short video training, we're talking about boosting your business with web copy that works. So part of my mission is to make the web a better place. And a big piece of that is really how do we set up your website so that it's providing a great user experience and helping you convert your visitors who are there into customers. So I've got a few slides for us. We'll just start with these and then we'll get into the next thing. Let me tell you the shape of this tutorial. So in this video, we're going to talk very briefly about your online goals. And then we're going to look at why web copy is different. So, many of us are used to writing for all kinds of different formats. When we're writing for the web, there are some things we need to be particularly aware of that make a big difference to the experience that we provide. So I'm going to run you through some of those. We're going to look at a few examples that do, of websites that do a great job of kind of cutting through the noise. There's so much distraction and information out there. So how are they really providing a clear user experience that takes people very seamlessly, very naturally through the process of, starting out just as a web visitor and then moving into becoming a prospect and then a client or a customer. And then I'm going to walk you through a little tool, the Instant Web Copy Generator, which is a Google Doc that I've put together for you that really just combines all of the key elements that need to be on your key web pages to make sure that you're kind of coming at them from a properly kind of customer focused perspective and that your copy is as effective as it can be. So let's hop right into it. By starting by talking about your online goals. So, why does the web even exist, really? People go online to find information. And so our sites are really a place where we communicate information instead of having to, handle it all in phone calls or other vehicles. We want to put the most commonly sought information about us up on our websites. And by doing that, of course, we hope to create opportunities. Our websites are opportunities for us to be found, for people who are interested in our products and services to connect with us, to learn more about working with us. And they also create, on the other side of that coin, for our visitors, they create the opportunity to have the problem solved. So everyone that's coming to us has a problem or a goal that they're looking to achieve, and our online presence helps them to find the opportunity to get what they're looking for. All of that, of course, relies on the effectiveness of our communication on our websites, and that really is hampered somewhat by what I'm about to show you here. So on this slide, we're really going to focus on the two columns in the far left. The first one is about focus. So 2.6 seconds, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. 2.6 seconds is the time a reader spends scanning a website before they decide to focus on a particular section. So if we want to imagine this in real life, somebody's coming onto your homepage, they're landing there, and they are spending 2.6 seconds absorbing what's on your homepage and figuring out what they want to click on and where they want to go from there or what they want to read. The next column over shows us that 20% actually, the amount of words that they end up reading on any given web page is only 20%. So that tells us how important it is to guide our users through our content in a way that makes it really easy for them to understand it without reading it, because they're not reading 80% of it. So any of you who have very text-heavy copy know that most of it is just passing right over people. And I've got a great diagram here that shows what the these are eye tracking charts. So where you see the red, that's what you would call reading, like what they would have called reading in grade 8, proper sort of word for word reading. The yellow sections are where the eye just passes quickly enough that we would call that almost a peripheral vision, kind of a seeing of those words. And then the blue is completely dead to our visitors. So if you're able to kind of peek into the details here, it's probably most obvious on the product page, but it's also true on the About Us page. The places where we see the most red are the headings, the line or two underneath the headings, and in a bullet, the beginning of the bullet, not the end of the bullet. So that right away tells us that when we're using bullets, we want to make sure that we're keeping them short and that we're leading with the point right at the start, right? So don't build up to your point, start with the point, and then if you need to do any explaining, you can do it in the section that people aren't going to quite get to. So, so that's the 20% that they're reading. It's not a random 20%. It's actually a very predictable 20%. The eye is moving along your page, looking at the headings, the subheadings, the key bullets, and looking to kind of anchor in enough meaning to make sense and move on to the next stage. Now, if we take that concept and we make it really, really, really small, which we know we have to do because more than half of web traffic now is coming from mobile devices. So these are tiny, tiny screens. And there's two things we already know about people who are coming to our websites from mobile devices. One is that they're very goal driven. They're very task oriented. So in many instances, people aren't really using their phone to sort of hang out and take their time looking at your site. They're coming because they're looking for something quite specific. You know, do you do this thing that I need? What is your address? Do you do takeout? What's the, you know, all of the things. The other thing that we know about mobile devices is that when people look at something on a small screen, their level of comprehension is about 50% of what it would be on a bigger screen. So let's really get in touch here with what we're saying. They're spending 2.6 seconds. They're looking at 20% of the words, and now they're doing that on mobile, which means they understand half of what they're seeing. So that is the reality. Your web visitors are already overwhelmed. They're already distracted. They're already not paying attention. They're already kind of, their attention is spread all over the place when they get to your website. And so, you know, very often when I have clients call me up to start a new project, one of the things they say is, you know, the problem is that nobody is reading our website. And that's not really true. The problem is that we pretend that websites are for reading, and they're not, right? That's not what's happening on our websites. So what do we have to do? What do we have to do to kind of get around this? Your site needs to be clear. So there has to be no ambiguity, no question. Do you do the thing that I am looking for? Do you help people like me? Do you solve this problem? Do you offer this service? So clear. It needs to be concise. When people are skimming, any extra word feels like friction, right? And you don't want to slow people down with friction as they're moving through your site. You want to deliver what they want in the way they're coming at it. So you want it to be almost inevitable that they're going to pick up what you want to tell them, even though they're not reading. So we want to be clear and concise. We want to be customer focused. You know, each of us is the center of our own universe, and nowhere is that more true than for your customer. Your customer is really mostly interested in your story to the extent that it serves them. So they're interested in how you solve problems for them, not just you. So we want to be customer focused. Another aspect of that is really thinking through, what does my customer actually value? Not what I think they should value or you know, how I like to talk about what I do, but what do they actually value? And am I lining up with that? What kinds of questions are they likely to have? What kinds of concerns are they likely to have? And to be really pulling those forward into the things that you want to tell them. And then we want to keep the site clutter-free. So this is a little bit part of being concise, but it's also just kind of visually keeping a lot of space so that what we're really doing is arranging words on a page in the hopes of enabling and facilitating the movement of the eye quickly. So we know they're going to read 20%. Let's keep it airy so that we can get them reading the 20% that we really want them to. So in a moment, I'm going to share a different screen, and we'll take a look at a couple of websites that do a great job of this. But before I get there, I wanted to share with you the link for the Instant Web Copy Generator. And this link should be somewhere else in the materials that you've received so far. This is a Google Doc. And it would be a good idea, I think, to download it now or to open it up now, in any case, just so that you can see what the template looks like as we're going into looking at some websites. You'll see how the relationship fits between this template that I've given you and what the shape of these websites is generally. So like, what are they putting there, where, what kinds of things are always included on pages? So you can open that up now. If you want to be editing already, you can save a copy, but we'll get to that in a minute in any case. And in the meantime, I'm going to stop sharing this screen, and I'm going to start to share Here we go. Let's make that nice and big. I'm going to start to share this, this website. So this is caffeine marketing. And you can see already, so we just got here, and you can see already that they've got a very clear statement when we arrive. So the image has the word leads on it. So that's a good indicator that they know what I'm looking for. So we're a digital marketing agency that makes profitable marketing easy. So I already know what they do. I already know what they do. I know that they're a digital marketing agency and that they're about profitable marketing. See, results happen when you start using the right words and strategy, and then request a call. So right from the get-go, already I'm halfway down the page. I've got 2 places where I can request a call. Obviously, that's their #1 thing that they want me to do, is to request a call. As we scroll down a little bit here, we can see more leads, higher ROI, and bigger impact. Notice how customer service that is, right? How customer focused that is. If I'm looking for a digital marketing agency, I'm probably doing that because I want more leads in my business. I'm probably doing that because I want higher return on my investment, on my marketing dollars. Maybe I've been doing it myself, I'm not getting great results. Maybe I've been using some other service and I'm not loving it. And I'm looking to make a bigger impact. So they've really taken kind of the words out of my mouth and put them on the website. And that actually is exactly what your website needs to do, is to take the words out of your customer's mouth, put them back on the page, and reflect them back. That's how they're going to know, without getting into too much detail, that they're in the right place. As we continue to go down, we can see here, bad marketing is costing you. So if that's going to be something that their ideal client will relate to, right? So part of what they're doing here is they're qualifying me. Is bad marketing costing me? Yeah, probably. So, picture having a clear message, a website you love, and Facebook ads that convert, right? They're really speaking my language. They know what I want. They know what I'm dreaming of, and they've put it right here for me. Then if we go down here, we can see that they're StoryBrand certified, and they're also a little further down, Facebook marketing certified. And what both of those things do is they really help me appreciate that these people know what they're doing. They're an authority. They've got the right training. They're recognized as kind of leaders in this space. Then we get into, how we grow your company. So now they're telling me kind of what their approach is. So what makes them unique? And here again, we have request a call. So at every opportunity, they're inviting me to request a call. We've grown companies like yours. You can see here a whole bunch of logos of companies that they've worked with. And then you also see some testimonials. So all of this speaks to social proof. It's well known that we all like to do business with people we know, like, and trust. How can we do that on the internet? Well, part of what we look for then is social proof. So I may not know you, but somebody like me knows you, and they like you and trust you. So it's okay for me to do business. So that's really what we're trying to do when we're looking here. And something I want to call your attention to on this screen is look how small and tight those testimonials are, right? So sometimes I see people with like a big long paragraph that's got a lot of extra stuff in it. It's very tempting, especially if you are in the services business, and especially if you are kind of a solopreneur. It's very tempting to put up testimonials that say things like, Sandra's great. But that's not what people need to hear from you. What they need to hear from you is things like, I've watched our web traffic grow 3 times over, right? Really results oriented. Again, putting on that customer hat when you're looking at this. What do they need to hear? Do they need to hear that I'm great? They don't care that I'm great. They care that I get results. So let's focus on results. And then here you see, 5 simple steps to creating a winning sales funnel. The fact that this is obviously a lead magnet. So this is where I would put in my email address. Now I'm on their list. But the fact that this is even here, and the fact that it has that kind of a title, also helps to reinforce in my mind that these people know what they're doing. They must know what they're doing. Look, they made a free guide. It looks like a book. There's a picture of a book. And then here they've got that call to action. As we continue to scroll down, if I haven't already requested a call, if I have any questions about what the process is going to look like from here, they've addressed them here. So step 1, request a call. Step 2, you receive options. Step 3, get your results. So all of that just kind of continues on. Then we get into services. This is a long scroll page, is the kind of style that they've chosen here. They've got some FAQs. And as you go down, you just continue to see more social proof, more explanation, more indicators that they know what I'm looking for and they're using those words and reflecting them back to me. So that's a great example of a site that I barely have to read it. We've just been scrolling it. I barely have to read it, and I know what they do and I know that they can help me. So I don't need to hesitate a lot before I request a call. Let's look at another example. This is 1-800-GOT-JUNK, quite a different sort of a business. And here you can see, so one of the things I really like about this site is how they're using the video and very few words to communicate everything, right? So you see the 1-800-GOT-JUNK truck and it's driving off, goodbye junk, hello relief. And their call to action here, the number one thing that they want me to do, the number one thing that they know I'm here to do, is to check whether that service is available in my area, right? And then you can see here, no credit card required, 24/7 customer service. So that tells me that they're really thinking like a customer. So they must know about their customers, that they're sometimes concerned about credit cards and, you know, how will I pay for this? And also that they might be cleaning out the basement at any hour of the day or night. So they're always available 24/7. And then as we go into here, you can see even more evidence of how customer focused in this way they are. They're anticipating the questions that customers have and they're getting right into them right away. So upfront pricing, right? People are for sure going to wonder, do I have to fill the truck? How do you charge me? Is it per item? Is it per truckload? Is it what's going to happen? Convenient pickup, responsible disposal. That's for sure another area that customers will have questions in. What happens to the things that I give you? Does everything go to the dump? Do you take some things for donation? How does that all work? Do you also work for my business? What will you take, right? Everyone, whoever has junk picked up wants to know if mattresses are part of the deal. And look, they've put a picture of someone pulling a mattress. So I'm going to assume yes. I haven't clicked in to check, but I'm going to assume that yes, they do take a mattress. And then as I go down here again, we can see Google reviews, testimonials, and all of the pictures that they're using are really reinforcing this idea that they're a friendly, accessible service. And then they're helping me to find them again here. And notice, like, all you have to do is point. So they're really speaking again to like how simple this is. It's going to be so easy for you to use 1-800-GOT-JUNK. And then again, their key call to action, take my junk, check the postal code, right? Check the postal code. And here we have no credit card required again. So as we go down, we can see really their number one call to action is check what's available or just call us now. And you can see how cleanly they've pulled that through the entire site. I want to look at one more site, very different kind of a site. Feels like a much smaller kind of a business site. This is for service, professional organizing services in St. Louis, Missouri. Perfectly placed. We organize your stuff so life is easier. That's pretty clear, right? Professional organizing services, get organized now. Again, right from the get-go, before I even start scrolling down the page, they're letting me know that this is the right place. Now, is this perfect? Probably not. I'm not nuts about this image, but our focus here is really on the messaging, on the copywriting. And in that area, it's doing a pretty good job. So hire a professional organizer, find a place for everything. That's exactly the kind of thing that a person who's looking for a professional organizer wants to do, is to find a place for everything, right? That's the kind of overwhelm that happens. Here we have a picture of, this is the owner of the company, Susan, and she's got a great little quote from her that shows how she relates to her customers, right? So as a working mom, I understand the challenges, right? So she probably knows that her clients are mostly women. She probably knows that they're mostly, they've got families, they've got kids. And she talks here about her 3-step process to eliminate clutter and restore calm and order in your home. Exactly the kind of language that people who are looking for this kind of service are going to be looking for. Here we see the testimonials, so nice social proof that she does what she says she does. And then she gets into organizing services. And I want you to notice how she's using the names here. So to anticipate the questions that people might have. So I come here, do you do home organizing or business organizing? Oh, look, she does both. Do you do moving and unpacking? That's going to be a big question for people, because that's a big area in that market, I know. And custom closet design. So that's something a little unexpected, but there it is. And get organized now. And as you go through here, you can see again, she doesn't let there be a question about what's supposed to happen next. Like, I don't need to send her an email or figure out, am I supposed to send her an email? Am I supposed to, is there a price list? How does it work? No, right here, call, talk with a professional organizer, we'll schedule a consultation, and then we'll show up and get to work and get you organized. And then here's your call to action, call today. Here she's got reviews. Reviews are a great, builder of confidence for your prospective customers. It's important to remember that people always feel like they're taking a risk when they buy from you, especially when you're dealing with something online. Whatever you can do to make them feel like that risk is less great is helpful. And reviews are a huge boon in that direction. So reviews and testimonials, both excellent for helping people just feel like they're confident in doing business with you. As we go down, we can see some testimonials. We see, some logos, also good, continues in our social proof. And then we've got some videos here, and you can see that there are videos with the owner in them. And this all speaks to how we can start to build that feeling that people know us and like us and trust us in our business. So some video in the right environment on your website, if your business lends itself to that, can be terrifically helpful. And then get organized today is kind of the last bit down here. So those three websites, quite different, but also quite the same. And actually most websites that do a great job of really clearly communicating the key information right away are kind of the same. There is a kind of a pattern that goes to it. And so I want to show you here, this is the Google Doc that I was mentioning. Let me see if I can get that to go away. This is the Google Doc that I was mentioning. Once you open this Google Doc, you will need to save a copy so that you can type your own stuff into it. So how you do that is you just go into File and click on Make a Copy, and you'll give it a new name. I'm not going to do it right now. You'll just give it a new name and it'll share it here. So I've already set one up. I'm going to walk us through this web copy generator, and I'm going to do it with an example of a graphic design production agency. I'm going to sort of fill in some of the text for you. So before I get into that, I want to just talk about the template for a second. This is meant to be a very much plug and play template, and you can slice and dice it almost any way you want. So what I mean by that is, this is set up right now, the font sizes and the kind of organization is set up right now, kind of for one of those long scroll pages. Although if you were doing a short home page, you would just write less and still kind of more or less keep the same shape. You can move a few things around, maybe you're like, oh, testimonials, I'm going to push them down here and I'm going to put some more detail up here. You can certainly move things around. Sorry about that. You can certainly move things around, but you want to make sure you're hitting them all. The other thing with this, I'm calling it a web copy generator, but it's actually very useful for any kind of marketing communications you're going to do, any kind of sales conversation you're going to have, because this is going to get you in the right mindset with the right messages. So where you use those messages doesn't really matter. So we'll just scroll through quickly here. I'll take you into this one that I've started to fill out. Just get rid of that again. Okay, so at the beginning, we want to start with, like, what does your customer really want? Like, why are they here? How did they get here? What do they want? And in the case of this company, what their customers want is fast, creative graphic design that's on brand every time. So that's pretty easy. So we just say that. Then the next thing we want to talk about is what we do and who we do it for, because the feeling we're trying to give people when they first land on our website is, you've come to the right place. We understand you. We've fixed this problem for people just like you, right? So X Creative is a high volume, fast turnaround design production agency for top CPG brands. So you may not know what CPG is. CPG is consumer packaged goods. But the point is that if you are a top CPG brand, you know that you are a top CPG brand, and they're already starting to kind of qualify you. If you get to this and you don't know what a CPG brand is, you're just going to click off, and that's what you should do. Right? Works for you, works for them. So they're getting it right out front, top CPG brands. And then the action to take now, so we could give us a contact us now or get a quote or something like that. We could also do see our work, right? So it kind of depends what you think the next sort of important step is in the process. So it'll be a little bit different for each of you. Some of you, it may be like, call us now. Some of it may be book your free consultation. Some of it, you know, request a quote or whatever else. But you might also want, if you don't feel like they would have enough information at this moment to contact you, you might want to give them an option to see your work. And you can do 2 boxes here. You sometimes see that, right? So that people kind of begin to filter off right away from there. The next thing we want to do, so that's going to all occupy kind of that hero space at the top of your landing pages. And by the way, that's a very good format, not only for home pages, but for many other kinds of pages. And then proof that you can deliver. So this is where we get into things like client logos or testimonials, if you've been featured in some publication, if you've got, you know, 1,000 happy customers, if you've served 1,000 juicy burgers, you know, whatever credentials you might have, if you're an industry expert from 25 years, if you're a thought leader, if you write articles for Huffington Post, anything. There's so many things that you can put into here that are proof that you can deliver. And what I want to call your attention to here is that in what I filled in, these are just quick and dirty samples, but even what I filled in here, X Creative keeps our marketing on brand and on budget. It used to take us 2 weeks to get a flyer out to our distributors. Now it takes us 2 days. These are the kinds, so first off, they're really short, so people aren't going to just skip over them. They're going to actually be able to read them without trying very hard. They're very short, and they're basically reflecting back to our visitors the kind of language that they're going to be most interested in. If somebody is coming here because they're looking for on-brand, fast turnaround marketing, they'd love to see that word on brand, on budget. Used to take us 2 weeks, now it takes us 2 days, right? So really thinking strategically about your testimonials, cut out any of the extra text that you don't really need. And if you're asking for testimonials, be asking about results and outcomes, right? Not just like, what did you think of working with us? But like, how did working with us change things for you? Is a better place to get stuff that you can use here on your website. From there, we want to get into talking to our visitors about either what they value, what their biggest pain point is, or some other way to help them know that they're in the right place. So in this case, is your in-house team overwhelmed with graphic design requirements? So what we're really trying to do as we get into this section is begin to qualify leads, right? So let's say 100 people are going to come to your website. Right off the top, 20 of them are not at all, like they're not CPG brands in this case. So they're out. Now we're dealing with the remaining 80. Of the remaining 80, maybe only a handful are actually going to be the right company for us. So what this question does is your in-house team overwhelmed with graphic design requirements. It assumes you have an in-house team, which is an important assumption for this business. They don't really work with anybody who doesn't have an in-house team. The companies that they work with need to be big enough that they've got an in-house team and that team can't handle the volume. So already we're starting to pre-qualify people as we're moving them through our page. In the next section, this is what the template looks like, and I've sort of filled it out a little bit to the side here. In the next section, a problem, goal, result, or fear that your visitor has. So that's one option, is like, you know, let's say a result I want. If you have a business that's an online training platform, for example, results I want might be things like ability to do breakout rooms, collaborative whiteboarding, and running quizzes, something like that. And so I might run those 3 things across. So that's one approach, is to kind of take a problem, goal, result, or fear. Another approach is to highlight an amazing feature that they're looking for. Another approach is to talk about a service or service category that you offer. And the one caution I'll give you about services or service categories is make sure that the names of the service categories are something that's going to be immediately recognizable and motivational for your visitor, right? So not using something sort of boring and generic, but something that really ideally speaks to results. So you might do video production. You could say video production, but you could also say videos that deliver or something like that, right? Like, so you want to give it a bit of flavor as you're going through it. So in this case, for this client, we're keeping it simple. So is your in-house team overwhelmed with graphic design requirements? And then we're just going to list out 3 kinds of requirements that their team might be overwhelmed with that we can help with. So that would be design and production services. And here I've written just a little blurb: a la carte design and production for fast, accurate on-brand marketing and sales. And then we're going to find out more. And this might be where you'd click into a services page where this is explained in more detail. Creative services management, similarly, here we might do something like vendor-funded marketing programs or something like that. So just really thinking here in terms of how can you pre-qualify your customers at the same time as directing them in the direction that they want to go, right? So these can have links. They can also not have links. If all the calls to action are the same, you could just do one call to action outside the box, kind of in the bottom over here. From there, we just want to do more proof that we can deliver. We want to constantly be reinforcing this idea that we can deliver. So more logos or more testimonials, or, if we did testimonials at the top, now we do logos here, or, kind of spreading it out. We don't want these to be blocks. We just want little flavors that are kind of seasoning the web copy as we move through it. Then we get into a little bit of detail, and this can be short or long. You can take it out completely if you don't need it. And the details kind of cover what results they're going to get, and we want to state that differently than we've done it so far. How are they going to get them? So this is really about, like, what are the features or the process or the procedure or the structure? Like, is this part of an easy 3-part plan? Is it part of a, is this an online course? What does it look like? Basically, what's the structure of the thing? And then why should they believe you? So we want to do more proof that we can deliver. So in this case, we've gone with, let me highlight that red. We've gone with X Creative is a high volume, quick turnaround production and design agency that specializes in meeting the creative needs of CPG market leaders. We provide concierge service. So how do we get it? We get concierge service to help us move through the design process quickly and efficiently, get exactly what you're looking for, and save you money by leveraging our network of suppliers. Great. Why should they believe me? Our clients include some of the biggest brands in retail hardware. Oh, if they're using you, you must be legit. You must be a real deal. And then we get into, from there, we saw on several of the sites, a really easy step-by-step, like, how do I work with you from here? And it's easy, right? Email us to set up an appointment, get to know us in a 30-minute strategy call, receive a detailed proposal for how we can help. Something like that, right? So just really laying out for them, like, what's going to happen? How is this going to go? How are we going to start this? And then what to do next is just to email us now. So from there, even more proof that we can deliver. Why not? Along the bottom, more logos, more testimonials, more, whatever you've got. And a reminder of what to do next could go here. So again, call us now, set up an appointment, whatever it is. And then the final piece that I've noted here is a housekeeping piece. And this can be short, it can be long, you can take it out if you don't need it. But this is where you would put things like disclaimers or FAQs or refund policies or payment plans or other kinds of things. This is not going to be relevant for every kind of business. Certainly, like, for example, in my communications business, this is not very relevant for me. But it is relevant for things like coaching or personal services, any kind of scenario where, like, if you have a 24-hour cancellation policy or something like that. And you may choose not to put this housekeeping on the homepage. It doesn't really need to be on the homepage. It might be on a booking page or a sales page. Good for coaching, personal services, any kind of online program sales, and other things that are sort of like that. So take it. If you need it, use it. If you don't need it, don't use it. Don't worry about it. Don't over communicate, because part of what we want to be careful about, we want to give people all the information they need when they need it. We don't want to give them more detail than they need too early in the game, right? So it might not be a good time to talk about payment plans at this point, because you're just trying to get into a discovery call. So you might choose not to share too much detail about what happens sort of down the road. But overall, this framework really gets you now focused on the right things to say. And then, of course, you want to spend a little bit of time massaging the language. This language in here is not very massaged. I just sort of did a quick and dirty for you. But that's where, once you know what you need to say, that's the time to start working on the sort of nuance of how to say it. But you want to start from a really solid foundation of having all of this laid out so that you've got your messages and you're not kind of playing with words, especially if you're not a writer or you're not accustomed to doing a lot of writing in your business. It can turn into kind of a mountain trying to get the words right, but actually what matters more is getting the message right. Don't forget they're only reading 20% of the words in any case. And so that is today's tutorial. I hope that that's been helpful for you. Feel free to visit my website anytime, www.onwordconsulting, O-N-W-O-R-D, consulting.com. Or you can reach out to me at Sandra at Onward Consulting. If you've got any questions about how to implement these kinds of things in the specific scenario of your own website, your own business. I wish you all the best and hope that these tips will help you boost your business and convert more of your visitors into customers and clients. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great day.